Good morning. My name is Amy Key. I am a white person wearing a blue shirt, blue framed glasses. I have short brown hair. I'm on the board of trustees. I'm the treasurer. I also co-lead the Racial Justice Project, the 8th Principal Task Force, and serve on the Sanctuary Project. Welcome to our service. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be joining us for the first time today, and those of you who are joining us online. Also, I will be doing the 8th Principle Spotlight today. I want to start out by reading the words of the 8th Principle. We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Today, I'm just going to share a couple really important dates with you for the spotlight. That is that we have our last 8th Principle study session tomorrow evening at 6:30 via Zoom. You can find the details for that in the email newsletter, on the congregation website, or the UUCQC Facebook page under the events category. Also, all our work on the 8th Principle culminates in the congregational meeting on Sunday, September 14th, immediately following service, when we'll take our vote on whether or not to adopt the 8th Principle. It's very important that all members who are able attend, as we need a quorum. Voting will be available in person at that meeting, also online through electionrunner.com. Paper ballots can be sent to members who need them. All members were sent an email notice about the ballot on November 4th. If you believe that you're a member and you did not receive an email, please contact Nicole at office@uucqc.org. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane Hammerand, a member of this congregation. We acknowledge the traditional owners of country on which our congregation's grounds are located: the Kickapoo, Peoria, Sauk, and Meskwaki, Miamiaki, and Osheti-Shagawan, and recognize their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.
Good morning. No, good morning. Thank you. Dave and I would like to welcome you to today's service. Today, daylight savings time ended for this year, and even after an hour of extra sleep, our internal clocks are a little bit winky today. They're out of sync. In fact, the one on the wall I had to change. It was out at the wrong time. Last week, the Earth-based believers observed the Celtic season and celebration of Samhain. It is the halfway point between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. It is a celebration of the end of harvest and the spiritual beginning of a new year. And it is also known as the remembering of the Day of the Dead. We will be continuing our journey today, as with the leaves, autumn leaf. You got the theme today. It's the falling leaves. Life is a journey. The season of fall can remind us of life's endings. Not only physical endings such as death, but also other endings. Perhaps the ending of a relationship, the end of good physical health, amen. The end of employment, maybe the end of independence, the end of good mental health, or other endings or transitions. These are events that color the seasons in all of our lives. Today, when you came in, I hope you were given a paper flower and a pen. What I ask you to do between now and the offertory is to think about that leaf and write on that leaf some period of change or transition in your life that has happened during COVID. If you're willing, on the back side, write your name. But I ask that you please print or write legibly because Dave and I are going to read it, at least some of them, during the offertory. We ask you to take a moment to recall the endings of your life, the death of someone close, the other life-changing events, something that reflects the changings and seasons of your life. This season of autumn, we invite you to remember the people who have gone before us and to appreciate the people that are present here today and to look forward to the people that will come into our lives in the future season. Each week, we light a chalice. We don't talk about the chalice very often. I invite you to come up after the service to look at it. It is a work of art that was created by a former member a long time ago. The base of the chalice are people, figures representing the people that came before us representing us that are here today, and hopefully holding up this church and this sanctuary for future. There are religious symbols inserted on each side of the cup of the chalice, representing maybe the various paths that we have taken to get here to the Unitarian Church. The bowl has many colors, as do we. It holds us in community and amplifies each of our energies into a bright flame. And on the top are glass globules that actually reflect the light back into the sanctuary and into our individual worlds. The chalice represents so much more than lighting a candle. We also light the first candle in the earthen vessel on the stand, where we share our joys and sorrows later in the service. And as we watch the number of flames grow during that period of time, again, representing the connections that we have to one another. So please join with us as we light this chalice today. The words are different. You could expect nothing else if I'm doing the service. They're on the screen. Dave will read them with you, and they're in the order of service.
With me, please. We light our flaming chalice to illuminate the world we seek. In the search for truth, may we be just. In the search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find a peace.
Usually at this time of service, we do a conversation for all ages. But today, we have a little older crowd. But I'm going to read you a story anyway. This is John's book club today. And it's the book of Fall of Freddie the Leaf. On the inside of the book jacket, it says, "The story by Leo Biscaglia is a warm, wonderful, and wise, and strikingly simple story about a leaf named Freddie. How Freddie and his companion leaves change in the passing seasons, and finally falling to the ground with winter snow." So sit back, take a deep breath, relax those shoulders, maybe look outside at some of the wonderful creations that nature has given us, and go with me for a little ride. Spring has passed, so had summer. Freddie the leaf had grown large. His midsection was wide and strong, and his 5 points were firm and pointed. He had first appeared in spring as a small sprout on a rather large branch near the top of the tall tree. Freddie was surrounded by hundreds of other leaves just like himself, or so it seemed. Soon he discovered that no two leaves were alike, even though they were the same tree. Alfred was the leaf next to him, and Ben was the leaf to his right, and Claire was a lovely leaf overhead. They all had grown up together. They had learned to dance in the spring breezes, bask lazily in the summer sun, and wash off in the cooling rains. But it was Daniel who was Freddie's best friend. He was the largest leaf on their branch, and he seemed that he had been there before everyone else. It appeared to Freddie that Daniel was also the wisest among them. It was Daniel who told them that they are part of a tree. It was Daniel who explained that they were growing in a public park. It was Daniel who told them that the tree had strong roots which were hidden in the ground below. He explained about the birds who came and sat on their branch to sing morning songs. He explained about the sun and the moon and the stars and the seasons. Freddie loved being a leaf. He loved his branch, his light leafy friends, his place high in the sky, the wind that jostled them and the sun rays that warmed them, and the moon that covered them with soft white shadows. Summer had been especially nice. The long hot days felt good and warm, and the nights were peaceful and dreamy. There were many people in the park that summer. They often came and sat under Freddie's tree. Daniel had told them that giving shade was part of his purpose. "What's a purpose?" Freddie asked. "A reason for being," Daniel answered. "To make things more pleasant for others is a reason for being. To make shade for old people who come to escape the heat of their homes is a reason for being. To provide a cool place for the children to come and play. To fan our leaves over the picnickers who come to eat on their checkered tablecloths beneath. These are all reasons for being." Freddie especially liked old people. They sat so quietly on the cool grass and hardly ever moved. They talked in whispers of times past. The children, they were fun too, though they sometimes tore holes in the bark and carved their names in the tree. Still, it was fun to watch them move so fast and to laugh so much. But Freddie's summer soon passed. It vanished in October on an October night. He had never felt so cold. All the leaves shivered with the cold. They were coated with a thin layer of white, which quickly melted and left them dew-drenched and sparkling in the morning sun. Again, it was Daniel who explained that they had just experienced for the first time frost, the sign that it was fall and that winter would soon be coming. Almost at once, the whole tree, in fact, the whole park, was transformed into a blaze of color. There was hardly a green leaf left. Freddie had turned a deep yellow. Ben had become a bright orange. Claire had become a blazing red. And Daniel a deep purple. And Freddie, he was red and gold and blue. How beautiful they all looked. Freddie and his friends had made their tree a rainbow of color. "Why did we turn different colors?" Freddie asked, "when we are all on the same tree?" "Each of us is different. Each of us had different experiences. We had faced the sun differently. We had cast shade differently. Why should we not have different colors?" Daniel, of course, said matter-of-factly, Daniel told Freddie that this wonderful season was called fall. One day, a very strange thing happened. That same breeze that in the past had made them dance began to push and pull at their stems almost as if it were angry. This caused some of the leaves to be torn from their branches and swept up in the wind, tossed about, and dropped softly on the ground. All the leaves were frightened. "What's happening?" they asked each other. "It's what happens in fall," Daniel told them. "It's time for the leaves to change their home. Some people call it time to die." "Will we all die?" Freddie asked. "Yes," said Daniel. "Everything dies, no matter how big or small, or how weak or strong. We first do our job. We experience the sun and the moon and the wind and the rain. We learn to dance and we learn to laugh, and then we die." "I won't die," said Freddie with determination. "Will you, Daniel?" "Yes," answered Daniel, "when it's my time." "What is that?" Freddie asked. "No one knows for sure," Daniel responded. Freddie noticed that the other leaves continued to fall. He thought it must be their time. He saw that some of the leaves lashed back at the wind before they fell, and others simply let go and dropped quietly. Soon the tree was almost bare. "I'm afraid to die," Freddie told Daniel. "I don't know what's down there." "We all fear what we don't know, Freddie. It's natural. Daniel reassured him. Yet, you weren't afraid when summer became fall. They were natural changes. Why should you be afraid of this season of death? Does the tree die too? Freddie asked. Someday, but there's something bigger than, stronger than the tree. It is life. It lasts forever, and we are all a part of life. Where will we go when we die? No one knows for sure. That's the great mystery. Will we return in the spring? We may not, but life will. Then what has been the reason for all of this? Freddie continued to question. Why were we here at all if all we are to do is fall and die? Daniel answered in a matter-of-fact way. It seems that the sun and the moon, it's been about the sun and the moon, and it's been about happy times together. It's been about the shade, and it's been about old people and children. It's been about our colors in fall, and it's been about the seasons. Isn't that enough? That afternoon, in the golden light of dusk, Daniel let go. He fell effortlessly. He seemed to smile peacefully as he fell. Goodbye for now, Freddie, he said. Then Freddie was all alone on his branch, the only leaf left. The first snow fell the following morning. It was soft and white and gentle, but it was bitter cold. There was hardly any sun that day, and that day was very short. Freddie found himself losing his color, becoming brittle. It was constantly cold, and snow weighed heavily upon him. At dawn, the wind came and took Freddie from his branch. It didn't hurt at all. He felt himself float quietly, gently, and softly downward. And as he fell, he saw the whole tree for the first time. How strong and firm it was. He was sure that it would live a long time. And he knew that he had been a part of its life, and it made him proud. Freddie landed on a clump of snow. It somehow felt soft and even warm. In his new position, he was more comfortable than ever before. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. He did not know that spring would follow winter and that the snow would melt into water. He did not know that what appeared to be useless dried self would join with that water to serve to make the tree stronger. But most of all, he did not know that there, asleep in the tree and the ground, were already plans for new leaves in the spring. The last page of the book, which normally says the end, says the beginning. So what's the point of Freddie? Well, I think it's pretty important that each of us is different. It has taken millions of years to create the you and me that we are today. There's never been anyone exactly like you with your gifts and your talents and your abilities. And it's about the sun and the moon and the wind and the rain. We have a purpose. Our purpose is to use those gifts and talents and abilities to figure out our reason for being, as the children did in the story, to play and to laugh and to learn. And it's about life, something stronger than a tree that lasts forever. So on this autumn day, enjoy the mystery. Thank you for listening. Please join with me as we sing song number 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart, stirring my heart of compassion. rise in the sea, and move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirring of compassion. In the wind, rise in the sea, move in my hand, giving life the word of justice. Give my love, bring set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you. We have a reading today from Joyce Rupp. It's entitled The Falling Leaves. With the constant chorus of cicadas, the leaves tumble down from long silver poplars. They twirl to the ground, dancing the autumn death dance beneath the great blue sky. The leaves seem to be glad at going. Is there something that they know that I don't know? Sparkling in the October sunshine, they fill the air with gentle rustling. One, and then another, and another. On they skim down from above, bedding the forest bed before me with comforting crunches and crackles. This gigantic death scene of leaves does not smell of sorrow or sadness. Rather, the earth is colored with joy, and the leaves make the music in the wind. Why is this death dance so lovely? Why do leaves seem so willing to go? Are they whispering to each other, urging one another to be freed? Maybe, you go first and then I'll follow. Or, you can do it, go ahead. Supporting one another gladly in their call to final surrender. I have not yet discovered the secret of the serenity of the sailing leaves. Every autumn I walk among them with the longing that stretches forever, wanting to face that death dance and the truth of my own mortality.
I entitle my reflections this morning as Meanderings in the Fall of 2021. Several years ago, my dad built an unusual way station for birds. Every spring, he hung it in his tree in northern Minnesota. It was rather unusual. Let me show you. Strange, what? It was large enough for one bird. He always said with a twinkle in his eye that it was built for a bird just passing through. In the fall of the year, the way through was usually a one-way passage to anywhere else, so long as it was further south. For me, the fall of the year is a non-stop feast, which I find to be particularly magical. Fall is an immensely large Whitman sampler of multicolored morsels for our eyes and ears to enjoy, to munch on slowly, reverently, in a kind of foreplay with nature. Fall is a time of year for heightened sensibilities and reflections. The early mornings and the evenings now generate a coolness. A sweater seems quite necessary as we sit before the warmth of our fire pit, adorning graham crackers with roasted marshmallows on melty chocolate squares. It is a perfect time for singing, for poetry, for reverence, for conversations with others. Whether you smoke or are a non-smoker like I am, John Denver speaks to us in his campfire song, Poems, Prayers, and Promises. Allow me to share some thoughts from that song. I've been lately thinking about my life's time, all the things I've done and how it's been. And I can't help believing in my own mind, I know I'm gonna hate to see it end. I've seen a lot of sunshine, slept out in the rain, spent a night or two on all my own. I've known my lady's pleasures, had myself some friends, and spent a night or two in my own home. I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have a chance to hang around and lie there by the fire and watch the evening tire while all my friends and my old lady sit and pass the pipe around. Talk of poems and prayers and promises and things that we believe in. How sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care. How long it's been since yesterday. And what about tomorrow? What about our dreams and all the memories we share? From time to time, I will ask you to close your eyes or to open them. Fall is a time of year for us to engage in what I call happy hour breaths. I invite you to seize this time with your eyes closed. Take time to inhale the subtle scent of tree sap as it slowly slides down into Mother Earth's arms. Breathe in the cool air, freshly squeezed and overflowing into our glass this colorful morning. Our inebriated lungs giggle with delight at the gift of life given, for the gift of life clutched, for the fragile gift so evanescent. You may open your eyes now. A still fall morning is a perfect time to visit a pond in a park. This visit is required to quench one's thirst for the vibrancy of life. Join with me and enhance your vision with your eyes closed. Tall poles of colored wonderment stretch gnarled, misshapen fingers and massage the blue-stocking defeat of God one autumn-fed morn. Near a tranquil pond, lazing geese full of corn and themselves honk scoffs to surrounding ears, listening to mirthful laughs of mallards awash in water games. An invite for voyeurs, moistening eyes anew, smiling quietly at a snack all too quickly floating by. Let's now take the time to visit a small church cemetery just over the hill and listen to whispers, what I have labeled a whisper of permanence. A slight whisper blows through reddened leaves, stirring up remembered wisps of hugs and laughter. An adored presence wafts through mind's ether, uncaptured on the etched stone ahead. This grassy, leaf-strewn plateau, this natural museum, our quest to affirm the permanence of love. Let me open your eyes now. Like the birds in my dad's northern Minnesota tree, we too are just passing through. While we do so, allow the watermelon juice to flow down our chins without interruption. May we continue to strive to set the world record for spitting those black watermelon seeds. Whether we succeed or fail in setting that record, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we projected those seeds. Someday, no one will know we did so. But what counts is that we know what we did, and we enjoyed what we did. Spitting black seeds to punctuate our poems one fall day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Each week, we invite you to experience the spiritual practice of generosity. So if I were Jay, I'd say, well, today's autumn leaves. Hope some of the change falls out of your pockets into the offering. Our weekly offering is a display of our commitment to this free congregation and our local community. We share 50% of all non-pledge offerings from this collection from a local nonprofit organization selected this month by the Racial Justice Team. The recipient is the Quad City Interfaith Community Meal Program. Every other month, the UUCQ crew shops, cooks, delivers, and serves a lasagna meal with all the trimmings, helping to feed those in need in the Quad Cities. We're also going to have a second collection where we want your leaves back. So take the time to write on your leave and we'll collect them. Be as generous as you can once the baskets too have passed you and you feel so moved. We actually invite everybody to come up and light a candle to mark the joy and sorrow in your personal life. And as you sit back there, watch the amount of flame that grows, the light, the warmth. That's what community is all about. Let this sacred time begin. Okay, if you have your leaf and you don't know what to write on it, we're asking for a transition in your life, a death of someone that is close to you, a change in the season, anything that you want. Then we're going to pick them up. As we gather together, behind each of our faces is hidden joys and sorrows. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to read from the book of Joys and Sorrows, which is located at the entrance of our sanctuary. We encourage you to write your personal joys and sorrows at the beginning of the service, which could be shared with our congregation. This is the book, and this is empty today. But we know that there's a lot of joys and sorrows out there. For what has been spoken, and for right, share the ones that are online, please.
You all hear me, or do I need a mic?
I go for the mic.
Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. Had it been a cobra, it would have bit me. Okay. All right. So we have from Christy Key, a joy that grateful that the boys or that the younger children are able to be finally vaccinated. Yes. We have from Marcy Doyle, grateful that no one was hurt in the crash last night. and that Daniel and the boys have found a place to move closer and that is nearby. From Barbarian Atkins, a joy that they got accepted into St. Ambrose. All right. So that is our online joys and concerns for this morning. Anytime I am here, I am happy to monitor that and make sure that those voices get heard.
Thank you, Terrence.
A joy to be able to do that too.
Okay, thank you. For what has been spoken and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. It is with these connections to one another that we build our loving community. And as I suggested today, as our flames grow, the light grows, the warmth grows, and it's us. It's what we are today here. Well, in Samhain and in the Christian church, they celebrate the Day of the Dead, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, whatever it's called. So today, I, with the help of Jay and Alice, put together a list of the people that died in the last year and a half, 2020 and 2021. It is not inclusive. There are probably omissions. It was done non-intentionally. The names are not alphabetical. They're not in the order that they died. They're just to remember the people that passed when we couldn't be together and remember them. After I read each name, I'm going to hit my bell that was a gift to me at Christmas last year that I'm going to break it in today. So bear with me. Jacqueline Crouch. Dale Barchman. Dorothy Barchman. Vivian Becker. Joanne Crane. Jackie Erickson. Velma Graham. Marianne Lejutis. Katie McCluskey. Joyce Wiley. Barb Robinson. Elsie Anderson. Connie Sauer Adams. Barb Matt. Chris Wells. Marjorie Taylor. Ross Lance. Thank you for holding them in your hearts today. We collected the leaves, and Dave and I, would like to take turns sharing some of the leaf inscriptions. At the end of the service, we will put the leaves back out of the exit to the sanctuary, and I ask that you take a leaf at random, somebody else's leaf, not yours, and take the leaf home, put it on your refrigerator magnet or someplace that you'll see it, and think about that person and that transition for the next week. Hold them in prayer and in good thoughts in the light for a week. What you got? I can read that. I gotta get my glasses on. I can't read. Okay. Sold my home. What is that?
Built a home.
Built a home. Got married. Well, congratulations.
Realizing I no longer have toddlers or babies, but big kids.
Yeah, we never grow up, do we? My dad's illness.
Not hugging kids and grandkids.
I moved jobs and homes and had many other huge changes I'm not ready to share publicly.
My friends that are gone.
I miss Thanksgiving and large family gatherings. That has not happened during COVID.
I have begun to accept I no longer have the energy I once had.
Amen to that.
Yes.
The shrinking of my world due to COVID, age, and health issues. That's true too.
More isolation from family and friends than I desired.
(2021) was the beginning and the end for me, the beginning of home rent or being a home renter, and the beginning of me being a homeowner.
I am in the last season of my life. So have had many losses, most recent brother, mother, and son.
Our daughter moving out to her own apartment.
Loss of near support as I moved to live on my own.
There are more. We could read them all, but I think you'd probably say, okay, enough is enough. But as you're leaving today, please pick up one of those leaves and hold those people in your heart.
A Leaf Treader by Robert Frost. I have been treading on leaves all day until I am autumn tired. God knows all the color and forms of leaves I have trodden on and mired. Perhaps I have put forth too much strength and been too fierce from fear. I have safely trodden underfoot the leaves of another year. All summer long they were overhead, more lifted up than I. To come to their final place in earth, they had to pass me by. All summer long I thought I heard them threatening under their breath, and when they came, it seemed, with a will to carry me with them to death. They spoke to the fugitive in my heart as if it were leaves to leaf. They tapped at my eyelids and touched my lips with an invitation to grief. But it was no reason I had to go, because they had to go. Now up my knee to keep on top of another year of snow.
invite the choir up.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather souls together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
Time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
The choir came together with 2 weeks of practice after a year and a half sabbatical. I just think it's great to hear him sing again, and you applauded him. But I think John needs to have a little applause too. We managed to keep music into our services when we were stuck at home. Well, I apologize. We're going to go long today. That's John. We are surrounded by the season of autumn. The colors, the smells, the cooler temperatures. We are all aware that this season is upon us and signaling changes in the air. In the book Fall of Freddie the Leaf, we touched on the many seasons of life and the reason for purpose for each of us. The story talks about death with something that we don't think about often. We especially try to avoid that thought of our own final passage from this life into the next. It's scary and it's unpredictable, yet every day of our lives, our bodies are aging. We rarely pay attention to this until our first real waning of energy, or the first gray hairs or wrinkles, or some significant part of our body refuses to function as it should. Some people tell me they don't like autumn because it reminds them too much of the inevitability of death. The leaves falling from the trees on the barren brown earth makes them feel sad and lonely. The leaves are a subtle reminder that we are all asked to let go of many things throughout our life. Autumn is an opportunity to reflect on and to claim that reality. Or as Freddie pointed out, it is about life, something bigger than each of us. Not an ending, but a beginning. Seeing death in any form, August leaves us, no, autumn leaves falling, or a person that we love breathing their last sigh of life, can call us to face the ultimate questions about life. Who are we? What and who do I really value in my life? Will there be anything beyond this life? Will I be happy? Have I wasted my life? What good have I done? What do I want people to remember me for? What do I need to do with the time that I have remaining? Who is significant in my life? Do I have unfinished business? Do I need to make amends for my relationships? These questions cause us to go deeper, to move beyond the surface issues of life. They touch our souls and connect us to the core of our being. No wonder we feel challenged by a season that raises such questions. I am confronted with death in my job as a funeral associate at Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. It's interesting to see how families and acquaintances cope with and handle death. No two funerals are the same. All have sadness, loss, family dynamics, wishes to have been forgiven for, or being able to receive forgiveness from unresolved issues. My sister Donna passed away at Christmas 2020. She was the matriarch of the family of myself and two brothers. She had polio as a kid, and she overcame polio to be able to be married and raise 7 children. And then polio and its nastiness came back with post-polio syndrome. So the nerves that worked around the first polio start to attrition. So you lose mobility, you lose the ability to use your hands. It's just not nice. She took over the matriarchal job 23 years ago after my mother died. And in both cases, my sisters and my mother's, I would visit their houses on Saturday, and we would have soulful conversations. My mother would have been 108 this year. I think she's real glad to be where she is. I miss both of my parents. They are both deceased. But I also give thanks for their presence and direction throughout my life to help me become the person I am today. Autumn does not have to seem like a harsh reminder of death. I figure it's more encouraging entering into the mystery of life. A movement toward life takes place. Dead leaves seem to have no value, are transformed into winter snows and spring rains, into rich humus for new growth. The barren branches already bear the potential growth in their terminal buds. The earth waits in the process of growth for the unknown, unseen, and beauty of another season. Autumn is a necessary transition between summer's fruitfulness and spring's new life. No new growth will come unless autumn agrees to let go of what has been. The same is true of our lives. Reverend Jay once said that only when you accept death as a normal part of the cycle of life can we really find the meaning in our life, and thus we are changed. When we become self-aware and start to live our lives consciously and mindfully, we find renewed purpose and new life. Life is filled with ongoing changes and ever-deepening growth. We need to appreciate everything and everyone that comes into our life. We need to celebrate life's moments as they come, enjoy the beauty of each day, knowing that each moment is a part of the eternal process of becoming. Walk through the leaves, ponder the reality of the season, let go of whatever keeps you from growing, and celebrate the season of autumn in your life. Thank you. Please rise in body and or spirit to join with us singing number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need there's something here to which we can belong. They need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need those friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us, and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. A thrill to hear imagination running on. We dedicate our minds and heart to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together. And with the grace of age, we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is the answer. Our Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one among us filled us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. We have the right to know. We have a gift to believe that in peace with living is the answer. We seek elusive answer to the question of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here in a sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we can find our will together. And in our search for peace, may we finally see, even a question truly is the answer. Please be seated. We have extra chalice lighting works in there. We're going to do the one that's in your order of service. Your part of it is, we are not alone. That's the tough part. But I want to put some vibration. Okay.
All right. As we extinguish this flame today, may we remember that we are not alone. We are this flame, ancient as the stars, new as the vulnerable spark.
We are not alone.
We are this chalice, rimmed by the spiral dance of searching.
We are not alone.
We are the light soaring, the shadow deepening, the dance between them.
We are not alone.
We are the heirs of the tribes and their fires, the healers and their circles.
We are not alone.
We are here. We are here for ourselves. We are here for each other. And
we are not alone. And we're still not done. Okay, this is our closing reading. You know, when I only do this once or twice a year, I really get wound up. I'm sorry. It's entitled The Sacred Season of Autumn by Ed Hayes. O sacred season of autumn, be my teacher, for I wish to learn the virtue of contentment. As I gaze upon your full-bodied beauty, I sense all about you and at-homeness with your amber riches. You are the season of retirement, of full barns and harvested fields. The cycle of growth has ceased, and the busy work of giving life is now completed. I sense in you no regrets. You've lived a full life. Teach me to take stock in what I have given and received. May I know that it is enough, that my striving can cease in the abundance of God's grace. And as you, O autumn, take pleasure in your great bounty, let me also take delight in the abundance of the simple things in life, which are the true source of joy. With the golden glow of peaceful contentment, May I truly appreciate autumn. Dave and I would like to thank you for being here and being patient with us today and sharing this beautiful autumn day. Remember what Freddie taught us. It's about the sun and the moon and the wind and the rain, that we all have a purpose and that we are all a part of life, something that lasts forever. Truly enjoy the mystery. Thursday, November 11th is Veterans Day. Please take time to thank a veteran, maybe ask them to share a story or with one, and be grateful for the sacrifices each of them has made. Again, thank you and have a great week.